Hey everyone, my name is Reggie and welcome to my channel. Today I'm super excited to share with you an adaptation slash movie review for the movie Love, Simon, which is based on the book Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. This movie comes out in theaters Thursday, March 16th. However, they did do quite a few early screenings and I was able to snag tickets to one of those, and I'm very grateful that I got the opportunity to do so. So I will be talking to you about this movie today. Before we get into that, if you're new here and you haven't done so already, I highly recommend hitting that subscribe button. That will ensure you don't miss any new videos from me. I put new videos about books and storytelling, all that fun stuff out every week. First of all, right off the bat, I want to let you guys know I absolutely loved this movie. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I think it was so good. One of the better adaptations I've seen, not just in terms of like, oh, that was good, like I enjoyed that, but like it translated everything over so well. The feelings you feel while reading the book are the feelings you feel while watching the movie. You get the same vibes. It doesn't feel like too cheesy. Like sometimes why when it's adapted it feels very cheesy put on the big screen and you can kind of feel it, that it's not the same intent as it was in the book. It was not the case at all in here. There were some moments that were definitely cheesy in the movie, but I think they were, one, either purposefully done so, or two, just couldn't be avoided. And I really loved that this just felt like the book in movie format. Of course things were changed, things are always changed. I think all of the actors were really fun. I think the script was really good. It adapted the story really well. It added in some contemporary moments, things that weren't necessarily apparent at the time the book was written. In terms of transferring this story into a visual component, I think that was done really well. There are a lot of moments where something Simon says or something Blue says that will be kind of acted out. You'll see the imagining of that, whether that's something that really happened or not. Also, just like I said in my trailer reaction video and how I hoped the transitions would be really good, the just visual spectacle of this movie was wonderful. The color palette was really good. The editing was really top notch. It wasn't as good in my opinion as it was in the trailer. I think the transitions in the trailer were just freaking fantastic. The editing of the trailer was wonderful. However, the movie just flowed so well and one scene bled into another scene so perfectly. I think it was just wonderfully made as a movie in general. Like, things worked the way they were supposed to. Transitions were cool. Camera following characters worked out well. Like, the cinematography was nice. The color palette was nice. Everything looked really good. I'm just overall so pleased that this is a movie that exists and that was made by a big studio, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. I know when I watched the trailer for the first time I was a little nervous because I wasn't 100% sure if they were going to tackle the story in the same way. I was worried that the coming out story and the way things were formatted would be very different. And they really weren't. Everything felt very similar. Everything was adapted very purely and very faithfully. So many scenes almost identically translated to the screen and did so in such a wonderful way. There have been movies where I've watched where the adaptation, it almost takes the dialogue from the books and puts it in a script and nothing changes and it doesn't feel like it was made into a movie. And I don't know if I should credit the writers of the script or if I should just credit Becky Albertalli for writing a book that translated so well to the screen. But the script and the translation was so good. I really liked the acting. Like, I think I already said that. I appreciated the casting. I do wish they would have actually casted someone who was overweight for Leah, but I do really love Catherine and I loved her portrayal of Leah. I think the character dynamics were so good. I really found the play aspects to be funny. I found the relationships to feel very genuine. There were a couple moments that I didn't like. I didn't necessarily like the portrayal of the principal in all of this. However, he was funny, comedic relief, the actor's great. There's nothing wrong with him. It felt kind of overbearing at certain moments in my opinion. Also, the high school setting, one of my favorite things about this book is that the high school setting feels so incredibly realistic. The parties are so like simplistic and the characters talk to their friends the way friends do, and everything about that wasn't the same for me. It felt like your standard movie high school. big parties, kind of cliques, kind of mean people who act like brats. However, I will say the cliques weren't as big and the party, well, way too massive to be realistic, had some really cool moments in building the characters in the story. So it is what it is. So there's a scene in the beginning where Simon is talking to his friends about some of the things they do together, and one of the things he mentions is watching like bad 90s movies. Now, of course, this is not a bad 90s movie at all, but it is in the vein of this like standard typical rom-com style of movie we get so often with these heterosexual couples. And it was nice to see Simon's story and a love story, a male-male romance. It was just so lovely to see that on the screen and to see everything come to fruition and see that kind of genre kind of opening the doors. And it was a safe hit and a soft ball, and a lot of the aspects of it were like gently done, but they were also very true to the book, and they were also, this is also something I think that's going to open the door for a whole new type of movie that I'm so excited, so happy to see come to theaters. We have seen some really fantastic things come out of the movies in 2018 so far in terms of diversity and just changing the game in the movie industry and Hollywood and everything like that. And this is one of those movies. I'm so glad to see this just kind of happen. It was a really cool experience to be in the theater for this early screening because the theater was jam-packed and full of people, and there were people like sighing wistfully at certain moments and like squealing and clapping, and they're just, you could hear the emotions, you could hear people crying, you can hear people giggling or laughing with funny moments, but you can also hear them like gasp when there's reveals of who Blue is. Overall, it was just a really nice experience to see it in the theater. So if you're considering seeing this movie and are able to see it in a theater, I definitely recommend it. It was quite a nice experience to hear all of the joy from the audience. I enjoyed that a lot. If this early screening I went to is any indication, I think it will be because it was well received in my theater. The theater was packed. Everyone had a good time. People left the theater being like, I didn't know this was a book, or I loved this. This was different than the book. This was the same as the book. I think any of the changes were very paramount to the change in adaptation. I think this was one of the most pure adaptations I've ever seen in terms of telling the story that we get in the book and having the same emotions you have in the book and all of that kind of stuff. There was a grin from ear to ear on my face while I was watching almost the entire movie. There's a moment where it gets a little sad and things get really dark, and I think the acting in those moments were so good and pure. But other than those scenes, like, which are genuinely like upsetting and sad moments, like, there's just a smile on your face. So many moments are so happy and joyful, and just, oh, the romance between Blue and Simon is so cute, still so cute in the movie. As a book person, you always go to the movies and worry that the adaptation is not going to do the book justice, and that's something you definitely don't have to worry about in this case, because you're still smiling, you're still happy, you're still enthralled in the romance. The representation is going to mean a lot to people. This is going to open the doors for movies like this in the future, and I'm just so happy for the cast, and I'm so happy for all the people who get to see themselves in this movie and feel represented, and I'm so happy for Becky and Simon. And it was just, in my opinion, a wildly successful adaptation and a wonderfully done movie, and I am so excited that this exists, and I really liked it. And it has its moments. There are things that maybe I didn't love about it. I'm sure after taking some time to reflect, I'll have some things, but at this moment, like, it was perfect for me. At this moment, I just came out of the movie. I've just talked to you about the movie for a little bit. It was just perfect. I can't stop smiling thinking about it. I love it so much. So that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you should go ahead and click that thumbs up button. Comment down below. Let me know if you're excited for this movie, if you've seen this movie, what you thought, all of that fun stuff. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.
Baby, I beg you, yeah.